Welcome everybody and welcome to the webinar marathon of Legacy Family Tree webinars. I am so happy to be there with you today. I'm Marie Capar. I'm a MyHeritage country manager for France and Belgium and all French-speaking countries. And it is my dear pleasure and joy to be with you this morning for me, maybe evening for Australia, where my dear friend is joining us today. And good night, friend.
Hi.
Hi. And Fran will be talking to us about all the great features that MyHeritage has to offer, because there's way more on MyHeritage than trees and photos. But let me first introduce Fran to you. Fran came to family history later in life when looking for new histories that combine her interest in traveling, blogging, and technology. And wow, does genealogy delivers in all those fields. She's a regular roots-taking influencer, webmaster, and social media guru for Cologne for a family history and conference lover. Fran, I'm so happy that you're joining us today to tell us all about what MyHeritage can bring to people. And without further ado, Fran, I'm gonna give you the floor and enjoy your presentation. Feel free to ask Fran questions in the chat, and I'll be sure to answer them or send them to Fran at the end of the presentation.
Hi, everybody, and thanks, Mari, for the intro. I hope you've been enjoying the 24-hour genealogy webinar marathon today. And if you read about the talk synopsis, you'll basically know what this talk's about. When visiting MyHeritage, users often focus on growing their family tree or experimenting in the photos section. However, there's a lot more features and functionality to use at MyHeritage. Whoops, it doesn't want to go down. Mari and I tested this and it worked, so I'm sorry it didn't work just then. So the contents, I'm going to talk about the home, discoveries, DNA and research sections of MyHeritage. Now this is a very speedy trip around these sections. And as I move through the website, I'm trying to emphasize the importance of exploring different sections of the website, because each has benefits you might be missing out on. So the talk's going to be helpful to new visitors to MyHeritage and those wishing to make better use of their membership. And yes, I'm not covering the family tree or photo sections. Even then, it's still a fast ride. Now, 2 points about today. I'm focusing on the website version of MyHeritage, although there is an app version that you can download from the Apple App Store or Google Play. And there's 3 types of membership I've looked at. First, my husband recently set up a new membership to help me do the presentation. It's the free one, and we've loaded up his DNA. Next, a cousin has DNA with the DNA features unlocked. This currently costs about $43 Australian, and you can check your local costs by going to MyHeritage with a one-time payment. And then there's myself with the full deal. And my cousin and I have already been set up as what you call site members for my tree. And secondly, many of the images will be screen dumps, so the text size varies. And the screenshots are to give you an overall perspective of what's happening on the website. I do not expect you to read all the text. Look at them like they're an image, an impression, not a book to read. It's about getting a feeling for the website and becoming more comfortable with the features. Right, make yourself at home. It's important that you spend some time on the different sections investigating them. Figure out what they might do for you. And so I say, don't just make yourself at home with the first section called home, but with the whole website. Allocate a slice of time you plan to check out what's available, how things work, test some examples rather than working on specific family history projects. Get comfortable with what's available for you on the MyHeritage website. So let's move on to the first section, home. What do you find under the home menu? family events, family statistics, invite family and site members. In this section, I see an opportunity to engage and communicate with others that might help progress your family history research. When I first saw family events, my immediate thought was a big family reunion, and that's not really for me. The calendar, though, can also be used for one-on-one events. For example, when you're working with a cousin to grow your family tree. So, the family events. When viewing the free to full membership, all levels appear to have the same information on the page. So let's try it out. Post an event to the family calendar and notify members if you want to do this. So you look for the orange button, and I'll just point it out in case you missed it. So to add an event, you discuss that you want to discuss with your cousins. You fill in things like the date, and in this case I filled in phone because it's over the phone, and you add any details you want to that explains the purpose or the plan or other details of the event. And then you just click the post-it button. Think how much easier it is to start a large family history meetup when much of the work is managed for you by MyHeritage. No need to send out separate emails when you do as part of setting up a calendar, as you can do it as part of setting up a calendar event. Everyone invited gets the same email, so no bickering in the family that you got this and I didn't. And they all have one calendar to view. At this stage, before sending out the email, you can make more adjustments. For example, you can add people by putting their email address in, or you can untick people. So if you're having a small event and don't want to invite everybody that's a current site member. What happens if they're not a site member already? Then they are automatically invited to join the site. So you can down here also modify and add to the message if you wish to. Or there's a don't notify site members if you don't want to tell anybody about the special event. So go on to the last thing's the send button. Now, MyHeritage continues to step through the process by confirming the email was successfully sent to all the recipients. And the second part here, it shows the event on the calendar coming up. The automatic email saves you from, whoops, banged the keyboard. Let me just get back. The automatic email saves you from having to create links, for example. Mari, I'm not quite sure what happened then, but I will just go back. Right, sorry about that. The automatic email saves you from having to create links in the event and other links like related to the tree. Now, if you know how hard it is to pass links on to people, if you write the email manually, you'll think this is a great feature. Another point to note is when you make a calendar entry for a particular tree, you don't actually change your other calendars for other trees, or you don't change the invitee's own trees. If you wish to later find the calendar for your tree that you have created or a site that you're a site member, then you select the tree you wish to view from the drop-down menu, and this is the little arrow here, but this actually appears on the very top of your screen. And from the drop-down arrow, you can see the names of the trees, and then you pick which tree you want to be in, and to locate the calendar, you go to Home and Family Events menu items. Now, a little tip, you can even use the calendar to plan your own research schedule. Why not book time to do research on a particular ancestor or checking out your latest DNA matches? Programming your research makes it much more productive and keeps you focused. Now, the next section in the home is family statistics. It covers a range of information, including an overview that covers genders, living, deceased, relationship data, such as married, single, and widow, etc., plus statistics about names in the tree. There's information about places, ages, births, marriages, children, and divorces. My little tip here is having this easy to present visual format means you can plan an online meetup or say cast to your TV when family are visiting, and they can see the facts by their ancestors by place, time, events, and more, thus helping increase your family history sharing and engagement. And the next section is invite family. It's an easy way to send out emails asking family members to join up and collaborate on a family tree. It's very simple to use. There's a list of people in the tree. You find the person that you are interested in asking to join, add their email address in the box, and click invite. The person you invite gets an automatic email with the details. And the tip I'd have there is that if you're dealing with a cousin that you regularly deal with, contact the person by how you normally communicate, say a text message to say the invite's on the way. This means they're less likely to think it's spam and ignore the message. And here's an example of the email the invitee received. As you can see, it's quite detailed. And again, having the email written for you makes this so much easier. There's the review the invitation at the green arrow within this email. Now, normally I always recommend to avoid clicking links in emails. So if you get an invite, make sure that you check it out first to make sure there's no security risks and it's a spam email. The person elects to view the invitation. They arrive at a landing page rather than the front page for MyHeritage. A landing page puts them in the right place on the website rather than them trying to find a page on the large website themselves, and gives them some instructions. So let's continue. So if they can click the continue button, and the process continues to be helped along by MyHeritage. The invitee is now ready to start going to the family tree. And again, it's the regular orange button highlighted by my arrow. Or before this, they can look at some guidance on family trees, family history, photos, and events. And if they do click the Go to My Family Tree, they go to the tree that they are now the site member. So if you've been inviting people to view and potentially help with the tree, it pays to look at some settings. So let's go back to my tree as I sent the invitation out. What privileges do my site members have? Every site member can view your family trees on the family site. Therefore, you should carefully consider before you invite someone to become a member of your family site, because depending on your permission settings, members of a family site can have full editing privileges for that site. So there's two places I found to review. First, move your mouse over the Family Tree tab and select Manage Tree, and select the options that you prefer. Do you want to have a site member to be able to download the tree? Or who can edit the tree? You and site members, you and your site manager, or you only? And don't forget to save the settings before you move on. And the site also continues to help you by suggesting that you review your privacy settings. And that's this little link here. Now, secondly, member permissions under privacy. It's found in the drop-down menu by your name at the very top. My Privacy has a number of settings as options, which have a little eye, as you can see these little eyes, for the information if you're unsure what each one's about. check out the content item, which is over here. Now, if you want site members to be able to post content, then tick or untick member permissions in this one here. Okay. The other thing is, while you're there, check your access permissions for your site, and that's this little access here. Here you can specify what guests who are not members of your site can do, like find the site, request membership, send you emails about requesting membership. Access and content permissions are set tree by tree. This means you can have different permissions for different trees. So I hope it's becoming clearer that if you set time aside to set up your site, it's worthwhile as it supports how you wish to do your family history, and with the last few slides, protect your family history. So how do you know if someone's made a change on your site, or even if you've made changes yourself but you might have forgotten? First, check, as I showed you earlier on the top left-hand side, make sure you're in the correct tree. Then click the Home menu button to view the home page. Check out the recent activity, again pointed out by the green arrow, and this will tell you who updated the details, that is, and what tree was changed. So you can see I've hidden out the person's name, but they updated this person and they did it on this family tree. With some activities, there are even links to the associated activity, such as viewing matches on these ones, or enhance more when it was to do with photo enhancing. I know I said I wasn't going to talk about photos, but that was the example. The home section is the final one, is site members, and I haven't included a screen image as much of the data would be redacted to hide the members' details. You can visit here any time you want to review the site and manage the site members. Yes, and I have removed members when we've finished our discussions, or I wanted to increase the level of security after adding more family members to my tree. What I do want to reiterate to you is to go slow and plan your moves. Set aside time to work through the different processes. I've shown some of the details and how MyHeritage has set up the website to help you through the processes and to get the most out of the functionality of the home section of the website. Successful collaboration with cousins mean that you need to invest time in educating yourself and planning. Spending time now will progress your research much quicker in the future. Okay, let's get ready to dive into discoveries. Now, if you've just created a site, it takes a little while for MyHeritage to deliver discoveries, but these grow as you build your tree. So what can you find in the discovery section? It's divided into 3 subsections: matches by people, matches by source, and instant discoveries. Something interesting to note is that one of the sites I'm a member has turned off instant discoveries, and I'm assuming this is to stop members from adding chunks of family history without first reviewing the data, as this particular tree lets lots of members edit it. All right, discoveries can lead to happy dancers and can be found in several ways. There's the discovery menus item we had on the previous slide with matches by people, source, and instant discoveries. And that's a little print off of it here. There are notifications at the top of the website where there are small orange counters to indicate the number of discoveries found by MyHeritage. And my tip here is it's not compulsory to view and act on all of these. Stick to your research plan so you don't waste time diving down rabbit holes, although it's still okay to do some free diving now and again. A third way is emails from MyHeritage reporting on new discoveries. And another way is persons can have little icons indicating if discoveries available for that person. And again, mousing over something gives you more information, so it's easy to understand. What's good about the MyHeritage is their matches are automatically filtered to rule out false positives and save you time improving on the quality of your discoveries. Now, what are the types of discoveries? We have record matches, where MyHeritage has searched billions of its historical records to match information to the persons in your family tree. Or smart matches, where the MyHeritage technology compares and matches people in your tree to their database of millions of other family trees to help you discover more. And both record and smart matches are sorted by people in your tree or by source type to help accommodate your research methods for a particular project. Instant Discoveries is a package of family history information that you can apply to your family tree in one click. And these might be photos or person discoveries. So talking about terminology, and if you're not sure of what a word or phrase means on MyHeritage, then search at the Help Centre or the Knowledge Base, which can be found on the top right-hand menu bar. Now, this is a screenshot of matches by people and record matches. When dealing with people matches, there's a number of ways to sort the data between record or smart matches, and that's record in this case, and smart matches. You can look at whether a match is pending, new, confirmed, rejected, or ignored. You can sort matches by first name, value, number of matches, most recent, last name, and relation. And there is a little search here where you can find a person by name, or the settings cog, which additional filtering is available. Now this gives you discovery settings, and it looks at the confidence level. And I've done an example here with my direct ancestor Anne Collis, who was born in 1796. At a confidence level of 0, I get 10 record matches. At a confidence level of 2, I only got 2 matches. And at confidence levels greater than 2, I got no matches. So you see that you can also control the quality. And the second section is to pick all record type, show structured records only, or just the ones that are free. And you apply this, and then that helps sort out. This one shows you matches by record types, and you can see the number of matches. And I find this useful when my research plan is to focus on a particular group. So I might work on a particular type of source, such as England and Wales census data for a particular year. And there's advantage in having continuity of the same type of tasks by focusing on one type of source. And again, you can do things like filtering, setting up things, but what you may not have realised, that if you dig down into the records by people matches, to find a match and add it to the tree, there is now one less source match you need to check out, and vice versa. Find a source match and add it to a person in the tree, and now there's one less people match to resolve. And this one's smart matches, and you can see that it's slightly different, but still the same type of consistency that helps you understand when you're working through the website. In this case, you can see new information by this person about death or places or spouses, or new info about the mother. And matches by source for smart matches are actually compared to family trees that MyHeritage has found a match. Each tree found a match has a numbers detailed. So you've got 63 matches from this particular tree. You've got the countries that the people came from, and the names of the trees and how many people are in the trees. So let's move on to instant discoveries, because I did tell you this was going to be quick. Okay, instant discoveries. In this case, it's photo discoveries. And you'll see that there's a little green arrow to point into someone. If there's multiple people in the photo, they'll actually tell you which person this photo is about. And person discoveries will be a particular person, and they'll tell you how they're related to you and that how many people you could add related to this person. Okay, DNA. Don't rush when it comes to DNA. Take it slow, especially if you're new to DNA or just starting your family history journey. Looking into your DNA can sometimes appear to be overwhelming and technical, but it doesn't have to be. If you manage your DNA, you can benefit from the investment if you spend time educating yourself. Now, I'm not a DNA expert, but there's loads of free and paid training on the internet, especially here at Legacy Family Tree webinars. Societies run courses, or join up an interest group so you learn from fellow members. And what I'm going to focus on today is one small part, getting started, showing you the process of loading up your DNA to MyHeritage. This is because you can't get started until you load up your DNA or purchase a kit. And it seems to be many beginners struggle even with loading up their data. Now, in the DNA section, there's quite a few subsections: estimates, matches, tools, managing your kits, loading up data kits, ordering kits. And so I'm going to look at just a couple in more depth. But I'm going to continue to speed through with the theme of gaining recognition of how MyHeritage leads you successfully through the processes related to your search and use of the website. So let's have a look at loading up your DNA. Now, my tip for loading up your DNA is that you actually read the details on the page. I know a lot of us are likely to go straight to the start or continue buttons. But here, for example, it's helpful to know what you get free and what might cost extra. Without reading the page, you would not see that DNA matches are for free and some tools have an extra fee. So let's move on. The next page, when you're loading up, MyHeritage continues to take you through the process. So let's have a look at the left and the right-hand side of the pages in more detail. The right-hand side summarizes loading up of your DNA into 3 basic steps. Download your raw data. Now, if you need help doing this, there's a link in the instructions on how to download from the other 3 major suppliers for DNA for family history. Step 2 is simplified into load up your raw data file, and later on it's separated into easy to follow steps. And step 3 is receive your matches. So here we go, super fast, but it does show you how MyHeritage takes this complicated task and makes it simple. So the other side, which was the left side, whose DNA are you loading up? And again, the dots showing you the process down the middle, down, so you can see where you are in the process, down the left-hand side of the page here, and click the continue button. Upload the DNA data, then gives you terms and conditions and privacy. And fortunately, the links in these pages are pop-ups, so you don't lose your place in the process. Read and tick if you're happy to continue. You can leave the process at any time and come back later and start again. This page is about MyHeritage processing the genetic data, and they ask for explicit consent to process, conduct analysis, and provide the results. In this particular query, they're asking about a confirmation that you're not related to any law enforcement or forensic investigation, as the terms do not permit this. The details are in the terms and conditions that you've ticked already. However, the importance of this requirement means that they've listed out it separately in the process, just in case those loading up did just ticked and did not read the terms and conditions. Again, as I said earlier, it's important that when you're doing this, you read through the text. So there's more choices. This one's giving consent enabling DNA matches for this kit, and includes a warning that you might discover unexpected relatives that might surprise you and your family. So you make a choice and click continue. Sharing DNA matches. Next, do you wish to share your DNA so that others can compare ethnicity estimates and genetic groups with their DNA data? This means that you can share your DNA with people from many countries and help identify who you may be related to. And my tip here is this option, along with many of the others, can be changed later by updating your privacy settings. So don't worry that these are permanent decisions you're having to make. Now, sharing your segment data. More advanced users of DNA may compare your data with their own or kits they manage in greater depth than a beginner might do so. So they're looking for more advanced DNA data. And of course, you can control if this segment data will be made available to be downloaded or viewed. Later on, you may wish yourself to be comparing such more data with other people's DNA and your own. And finally, as we're getting closer to the end, you can see we've progressed along here. They ask if you agree to have an anonymized and aggregated research that DNA uses for their research project. I agreed with this, but for the presentation, I just clicked no on the slide. So you can see how this is reflected in the next summary page. So I hope that you don't just go ahead and tick everything without reading and taking control of your choices. So prior to loading up, check that choices are those that you selected, and then you can upload your raw data. Just select the file from your computer. Some of you might be asking, but where do I get the file from to load up? Well, remember, there was a link in the beginning giving instructions how to get your raw data from other family history companies. And remember, it's important that when you process this download, that you are now responsible for keeping this data secure. And if you uploaded it successfully, the DNA kit, it tells you this. And in this case, they told us it would take 5 to 7 days, and you'll get an email to say that it's been uploaded. And here's a little copy of the email. It was a quick thing. And it was much quicker for Stephen. It took 1 to 2 days. And he got 13,000 plus matches. And I'm still sitting at less than 9,000. And he has only 3 people in his tree. And that's what, because you need to remember that the number of DNA matches is based on actual matches with others in the DNA database and not whom you have in your tree. Although I think he does need to add a few more people. So have a quick look at some other sections. Then you've loaded up your data. Manage DNA kits is one section you might need. It's halfway down the menu, drop-down menu item. And there's 3 dots for lots of extra little things you can do managing the kit, including deleting it if you wish. Now, what do you get to see after the results come through? Well, from the dashboard, you can see a summary of DNA matches separated by close family, extended family, and distant family members. And that was this bit of the slide here. And I've just hidden the faces of the people to keep them anonymous. And on the maps, you can see where people come from currently. But missing was the ethnicity estimate that needed to be unlocked with the other advanced features. And you might remember that I mentioned that you need to read so you know which were the free features and which were the ones like chromosome browser, ethnicity estimate, shared ancestral places, and more that cost an extra fee. So initially, the top part of the slide, they told us that Stephen had 3 ethnicities and 7 generic groups, but we needed to unlock it. But then, a few days later, and I'm thinking it might be because I had loaded up Stephen's DNA a few years ago and managed it on my site, that MyHeritage worked out that his DNA had already paid for advanced features. And I went back to look and saw that now the ethnicity estimates were here. So we went from this to this, and the little girl's doing a happy winner dance. So I'm not going to go deeper into DNA, except to note again, take your time, focus on learning what's available and using the tools and data before you dive deep into DNA. Otherwise, when you come across things like genetic groups in Boston, but you know your family comes from New Zealand, or something called a confidence level, you might find these create roadblocks for you. So don't rush when it comes to DNA. Slow down, be purposeful with your clicking, and let's move on to the research section. The last section we're going to review, this is a huge collection made up of databases, over 19 billion historical records. And with so many records, these are split into categories like births, marriage and death, directories, guides, resources, references, census, immigration, and so on. And then categories have subcategories, and below this hold collections with individual records. And all of this can be searched through the main search page on MyHeritage, which is myheritage.com/research. And I break here to say that if you've not got one already, you should consider writing a research plan, because rather than searching random names and records, focusing your research by selecting on a particular category or subcategory or collection and limiting your research to these can often be more productive. And if you go through, you'll see these are all like searching the records, the collections, births, deaths and marriages that I talked about before, newspapers, immigration, hire researcher. These are all sections that can be found in the research. And so I've given you an example here of the second menu item, which was the collection catalogue. And it shows you the main collection types and the number of collections within them. Of course, the number of items within that collection can also vary for each one. If you wish to focus your research on place or time, there are alternative ways that you can navigate also, and that's defined by location or by time. Other things to look for are things that are free, updated, or that they have images or not for a collection. And if you click on or mouse over the item, a pop-up title explains the basic details about the item. And if you click the icon or the title, you go to the search page. And at the search page, you can start filling in the details. And in this area, MyHeritage also makes suggestion for other records that you might want to look at related. So this concludes the summary of the sections. So I have a few points that I just want to make from the talk, a brief rundown. So one, let me just go to the summary page. One, there's a lot more than trees and photos in MyHeritage. To make use of the site, you need to invest time in educating yourself about its functionality and features. This learning sometimes needs to be done in a focused way, separately from doing your family history research. MyHeritage has lots of support, including step-by-step processes to use many of the features, and further queries, there is the Help Centre and the Knowledge Base. The Home section helps you focus on engaging with family to progress your research. And you need to understand how discoveries are segmented when you dive in, so it's not a belly flop. To manage your DNA and the benefit from the investment, you need to invest time in educating yourself and take it slowly. And to succeed in your research, make a plan so you focus. The functionality's there, and now you need to educate yourself and take control of your permissions and choices. And that there is the end of how the 4 sections, or my take on the 4 sections of MyHeritage and how the website helps progress your family history. Thank you, Mari.
Thank you so much, Fran. That was so interesting. And although I, of course, working at MyHeritage, know a lot about it, I learned stuff, or I learned how to use things better. And I really, really loved your take on slowing down, because it rings a bell to Fiona's presentation earlier, so that really matches it. We have time for one question only. Let me take back the screen. We have a question that asks, do law and order forces have access to MyHeritage DNA records? No, I know the answer to that question, but I'll let you answer.
No, they don't. The thing is, if you want to read more about it, if you go into the terms and conditions, because we're running a bit short of time, but basically it covers in one paragraph about law enforcement, for forensic examinations, criminal investigations, cold cases, and a lot of others, including taking DNA from cadavers. And basically what MyHeritage is saying is it's strictly prohibited unless there's a court order, because it's their policy, this is MyHeritage's policy, to resist law enforcement inquiries to protect the privacy of our customers. So I think they're pretty strong on that, in that they put it as a separate line item in the ticking the boxes as you went through.
Thank you so much for enlightening and for giving that answer. And may I add that for any other questions or help, you can always resort to MyHeritage knowledge base, which has a lot of awesome, great tips. And there's a nice, awesome recent story by MyHeritage CEO and founder Gilad Javed. Recently, as well as MyHeritage support, which is also very thrilled to help you in any way that they can, and as well as a lot of social media MyHeritage user groups that are great resources. So you can, of course, see again, Fran, awesome presentation of all the great features that you have. You can, of course, watch. So I'll be watching the webinar recording again of Fran for free for a limited time on familytreewebinars.com. But you can also enjoy almost 2,000 classes and almost 8,000 handout pages, which is wow, for a very small yearly fee. So imagine, divide the number of classes by the number of fee, and it's not even a coffee. And you can enjoy it all year long with the Family Tree webinars. Subscriptions. And without further ado, I was announcing at the beginning of Fran's great presentation on MyHeritage great features that there was a super awesome door prize to win, which was MyHeritage DNA kit, which is always exciting, especially now that Fran has told us about how to approach our DNA results best, especially if we are beginners with DNA research. And the winner today, I'm gonna take down the name that I picked, is Mrs. Colleen Jones from Australia. Colleen, congratulations. I hope that makes you a happy evening with your prize. And congratulations on winning a MyHeritage DNA kit, and we'll be in touch with you shortly for you to claim your prize. Fran, thank you again so much. That was so great and awesome, and I really love the design of your presentation. That was so cute. Thank you again. Thank you all for tuning in wherever you are in the world. And I wish you all a great evening, friend, a great day, wherever you are in the world. And I invite you to continue to enjoy the great Family Tree webinar yearly marathon, because it's always such great fun with a presentation of Ellen Smith. Have a great day, everybody, or great night wherever you are. And
Thank you, Mari.
you're welcome, friend. My dear pleasure. And I hope that you will all have a lot of fun researching on MyHeritage. Have a great day/night.
Thanks. Bye.